Ano daw mga nangyayari pag ang Uranus ay in Gemini? The last time na ang Uranus was in Gemini sa birth chart ng Pilipinas,
Nagkaroon tayo ng
ay nasa World War II.
World War II.
Oo.
Nasa World War II. Okay, nasa World War II. Kaya nga ang United States ngayon, ito yung masabi ng mga astrologer kasi ang United States kasi when it was born, Uranus was in Gemini. Tapos every Uranus return niya, nung nagiging Uranus kasi every 84 years nagkaroon ng civil war sa US. And then after 84 years, World War II, ganon. And ngayon yung next year, ang Uranus in Gemini return uli ng United States. So ngayon, hindi nila alam, ano ba to? It's either World War II ba itong mangyayari? Ay, World War III ba?
World War III?
Or magkakaroon ba ng internal upheaval? Or magkakaroon ng internal upheaval sa United States, di ba? Ngayon sa Pilipinas, anong mangyayari ngayon sa atin? There will be upheaval. At ang maganda nito, may relevance ang Uranus Gemini sa ating history. Kasi si Jose Rizal, when he was born, Uranus was in Gemini.
Okay. Okay.
At siya ang naging mitya ng
Revolution.
independence. Ng Uranus in Sagittarius. Ngayon sa Pilipinas, isa lang ang pinaka-prominent na politiko ngayon na pinanak while Uranus was in Gemini. Ito po ay just for fun lamang. Huwag masyadong seryosohin. Astrology is an art, not a science. Although some astrologers want to claim na science, it is an art. Okay, it is an art. Okay, ito pong astrological chart ng Pilipinas. Ang ginamit po ditong birthday ay June 12, 1898. At ang birth time ay 4:30 p.m. sa Kawi, Cavite. Ito po yung Declaration of Independence ever. Okay. Maganda to kasi sabi sa kanya, it's an art, no? So, ang maganda kasi tingnan dito, yung Uranus. Alam mo naman, Ibi, you love Uranus. So, ang Uranus po ay, nung pinanganak ang Pilipinas, ay nasa House of Sagittarius, which is Uranus is about, it is the planet of revolution, freedom, and independence. So, nung pinanganak ang Pilipinas, Uranus was in Sagittarius. Ngayon, sa astrological cycle kasi, merong Uranus return. And it only happens every 84 years. Kaya tayo, yung mga buhay dito, kung nakaabot kayo ng 84 years, mararamdaman nyo yung Uranus return. So, kailan yung Uranus return ng Pilipinas since 1898? Kailan nag-umpisa? 1982, and it lasts for 7 years. 1982 plus 7, 1989. Ano nangyari nung time na yon? Between 1982 and 1989.
EDSA.
It was EDSA, di ba? Ang taray, di ba? After 100 years, magkaroon ng EDSA. Pero ang bongga kasi dyan is yung next year, Uranus will be transiting the 7th house of the Philippines. Ayan, 7th house. Ay, nakikita niyo yung 7th house, di ba? Uranus will be in Gemini. Yan, yun ang sabi ng astrology. Uranus will be in Gemini starting from June 2025 and it will last for 7 years. So 2025 to 3032. Ano daw mga nangyayari pag ang Uranus ay in Gemini? The last time na ang Uranus was in Gemini sa birth chart ng Pilipinas,
Nagkaroon tayo ng
ay nasa World War II.
World War II.
Nasa World War II. Okay, nasa World War II. Kaya nga ang United States ngayon, ito yung masabi ng mga astrologer kasi ang United States kasi when it was born, Uranus was in Gemini. Tapos every Uranus return niya, nung nagiging Uranus kasi every 84 years nagkaroon ng civil war sa US. And then after 84 years, World War II, ganon. And ngayon yung next year, ang Uranus in Gemini return uli ng United States. So ngayon, hindi nila alam, ano ba to? It's either World War II ba itong mangyayari? Ay, World War III ba?
World War III?
Or magkakaroon ba ng internal upheaval? Or magkakaroon ng internal upheaval sa United States, di ba? Ngayon sa Pilipinas, anong mangyayari ngayon sa atin? There will be upheaval. At ang maganda nito, may relevance ang Uranus Gemini sa ating history. Kasi si Jose Rizal, when he was born, Uranus was in Gemini.
Okay. Okay.
At siya ang naging mitya ng
Revolution.
independence. Ng Uranus in Sagittarius. Ngayon sa Pilipinas, isa lang ang pinaka-prominent na politiko ngayon na pinanak while Uranus was in Gemini.
Sino siya?
Remember, Uranus was in Gemini from 1941 plus 7 for 1949.
The years na pinanganak si PRRD.
And Trump was also born with Uranus in Gemini. So,
Okay.
kung maniwala man kayo sa hindi, maybe this is just for fun, no? There might be some shake-up and upheaval in the Philippines or in the world, or US and the Philippines between 2025 to 2032. Ngayon, pag tayo na-go through sa upheaval na yan, 2033 would be a renewal.
2023?
2033.
2033, okay.
Yes, because
10 years.
2033, Uranus will be in the 8th house of the Philippines, which is the house of transformation.
Capricorn.
Okay.
No, that's Cancer. So
Cancer.
Cancer is about home, nurturing, ganyan. So baka 2033, ang maging presidente ay babae. Charot.
Oh.
And 2025 to 2032 would be an upheaval. Charot. So hindi natin alam. Pero yun na nga, no? Siguro nga hindi magkakaroon ng upheaval, but whatever. Sabi nga ni Sinay Seva, ang mga bituin ay tanging gabay lamang natin.
Gabay lamang.
Gabay lamang.
Pero you cannot deny the parallelism. Diba? Yun ang sinasabi, no? After your Uranus, pag nagkaroon ka ng Uranus return, doon ka magkakaroon ng some sort of rhyme yung buhay mo, no? Kung hindi mo ma-learn yung lessons. So the Philippines was born with Uranus in Sagittarius.
Right.
And then after 84 years, nagkaroon ng EDSA Revolution. Nakita niyo yung mirror image.
Yes.
Ano ngayon ang mirror image natin? No? When Uranus was in Gemini. And that was 1941 to 1949. Are we going to be part of another war? Or are we going to have an internal upheaval? Pero ang mangyayari yan, there will be a radical shake-up from June 2025 to 2032. And 2033 would be a period of renewal. Ayan lamang po ang ayon sa art of astrology. This is an art.
Your Highness, question. 82 to 89, your Uranus was in Gemini, right?
Sagittarius.
Ay, Sagittarius. Okay. Because
1941 to 1949, Uranus was in Gemini.
in 83, somebody was assassinated as well.
Yes.
Hmm.
Kaya nga, the Philippines is due for a
Assassination.
radical shake-up. According to the art of astrology, the Philippines is due for a radical shake-up.
Radical shake-up.
Oo, kasi by 2033, Uranus will be in House 8 of the Philippine chart, astrological chart, and House 8 will be about transformation.
Right.
So that's gonna start from 2033. But before the transformation, there will be an upheaval. Yan lamang po ay according to the art of astrology. Art lang po ito. Art lamang po ito. Art. This is just an art. Okay? So, Madam Sassy. No, this is just an art. And my mother is into astrology. So, that's why I...
Pero interesting kasi ano yan eh, may mataas rin yung batting rate ng mga astrological predictions.
Hindi siya actually predictions. It is astrology doesn't predict, it mirrors. Yun ang
Yeah, yung batting rate ng mirror, whatever. Ay, kasi syempre, ano yung tawag dito, you look, it is unforeseeable future eh. So, meron siyang element na nagpe-predict talaga. Kasi, you do not know, but the stars would say, ito yung future. So, somehow, it would have an element of telling you what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Diba?
Ngayon, ito pa maganda sa Philippines. Kasi sa astrological chart ninyo, meron tinatawag na North Node. Yan yung true node. Ang true node ng Pilipinas ay nasa Capricorn. Sa astrology, ang North Node ay ito ang iyong destiny sa iyong lifetime na ito. Yan. Ito dapat kahit ito yung direction ng iyong soul from this lifetime in order for you a self-fulfilled soul. Ang Pilipinas, ang kanyang North Node ay nasa Capricorn. Paki-display, Joey.
Nasa Capricorn. Okay.
Yeah, ang North Node ng Pilipinas ay nasa Capricorn. Ngayon, ano raw ang lesson ng North Node na Capricorn? Okay, pakibasa, Joey. Talata. Okay.
Ayan. Capricorn North Node urges you to be more disciplined in life. This includes both your everyday routines and the way you manage your emotions. The focus is more on being goal-oriented rather than getting caught up in the emotional push and pull of everyday life and situation.
Next.
North Node Capricorns are called to embrace their independence.
So yan ang ano ng Pilipinas. Kung if the Philippines is a person, the Philippines has always is being directed by its soul for greater independence. So there is something huge going to happen in 2025 that will produce a shake-up in the Philippines. So buckle up. That's just according to the art of astrology.
So upheaval, a great shake-up, and then moving
Renewal.
into
Transformation. There will be
Transformation.
transformation 2033. Yan ang beginning ng transformation. So upheaval 2025 starting, and it will last up to 2032, and then 2033 will be
Great transformation.
Yon, di ba?
Yun.
Ano nangyari nung the last time na Uranus was in the 8th house ng Pilipinas? Yun yung doon na nangyari yung yung greater independence from the United States. So ngayon hindi natin alam kung ano magiging tema. It might be like that, it might be something like that. Pero the trigger has been set already, and that is the role of a prominent figure with a Uranus in Gemini.
Oy, Sas, the trigger has been pulled or the hammer has been cocked but the trigger hasn't been pulled yet?
Well, the thing is, kung may mangyari sa someone with Uranus in Gemini, that would
be the
spark, that could be the spark of the upheaval.
Okay.
Anything na mangyari dyan. So, ito lamang ay nasa art of astrology. No? Kasi ang mga Marcoses, naniniwala ito sa ganyan. Ha?
Oo, very mahilig sila mga ganyan very sila actually. Di ba kaya di ba kaya 777, di ba may obsession dyan yung matandang Marcos.
Okay.
777, tapos yung parang may mga kailangan gawin on a certain day.
Yeah, so
kasi yun yung parang higher chances of success.
Numerology. Right. Which is also part of okay.
So ayun na nga. So it's just a matter of time. So parang the Philippines is due for a shake-up.
A great reset, sabi ni Tita Itz, Ma'am Itz kanina.
Yes, kasi pag hindi ito nangyari, if we don't fulfill this, there will be another chance, and that would be the next the next Uranus return of the Philippines, which would be in
84 years old.
Siguro mga nasa 50 years old na tayo niyan, Joey, kasi it might be in 2067.
20 years.
So ito ngayon.
At least yung conversation na natin, Sas, yung hindi na yung Sas! Sakay tayong bullet train! Ganun na yung magiging conversation natin. Hindi na yung di ba? Hindi na yung sakay tayo ng train na gawa ni Sandro.
Hindi nga natin alam, sabi ni Flores, kailangan pa mai-sacrifice. Hindi nga natin alam kung ano mangyayari. But according to the astrological progression ng chart ng Pilipinas, the Philippines is due for a great shake-up. Nagigets ninyo? It's due for a great shake-up, great upheaval, no? In the next 7 years. And that upheaval, if we learn the lesson correctly, could lead to the great transformation of the Philippines. Nagigets ninyo? Okay?
Right.
So the change can be bad or good. Okay? So it might 2032 might be 2033 might be for the good or for the better or
absolute condemnation, but change to absolute condemnation.
Yes, pwede kasi niyang absolute breakup.
Or absolute damnation.
Oo, pwede kasi niyang absolute condemnation kasi the House of 8 is about transformation and death as well, di ba? So ngayon, it really depends on what kind of change the upheaval that will bring. And what lesson the Philippines could learn. Parang yung last great upheaval, di ba? 1986. The Filipinos learn what must be learned? No, so naka-leche-leche. So ulit-ulitin mo talaga siya. Kaya nga history repeats itself, di ba? It repeats itself because yung konsepto kasi ng history repeat itself, it is related po siya sa konsepto ng karma ng Hinduism. Kaya siya nag-repeat pa ulit-ulit because you haven't learned your lesson.
Right.
Until you learn your lesson, uulit at uulit yon. That's karma. Okay? Because that's karma. That's the lesson that you need to learn. So once you learn it and change, mawawala yung karma. That's the proper concept of karma. Hindi yung, kinarma siya kasi may nangyaring masama sa kanya. Ngayon, uulit-ulitin natin yung lesson natin. And the Philippines, according to its astrological chart, the destiny of its soul urges you to be more disciplined in life and called to embrace their independence. Yan lamang. Thank you so much. Ito po si Madam Auring. Charot. Madam na nagsasabing, ang mga bituin ay gabay lamang natin.
Ano kayo sinasabi ni Sinaida Seva? Ang mabutuin ay ano?
Ay, gamay lang po natin.
Oo.
No? At ano ba yun? Huwag nating, ano, may continuation yun.
Sinaida Seva.
Mm.
Quote. Hindi hawak ng bituin ang ating kapalaran. Gabay lamang sila. Mayroon tayong free will, gamitin natin ito. Di ba? Ayun. Ano, dapat ulitin mo yung part na yun. Hindi hawak ng bituin ang ating kapalaran.
Hindi hawak ng bituin ang ating kapalaran. Gabay.
Gabay lang.
Okay.
Mayroon tayong free will.
Meron tayong free will. Ano lang po ito, this is just an art, you know. Astrology is an art. It is a way to give you some structure, to heighten your intuition, ganyan. So, ngayon, ang eksena sa buhay ay, yeah, it might be the case that there might be great upheavals ahead. So, buckle up.
Buckle up.
Ayan, well anyway, si Inday ay gagawa na raw ng bagong libro, which is, I think, no, since patok na patok yung libro niyang una, ay nararapat lamang na gumawa siya ng bagong libro. Hindi ko pa napapanood to eh, wait. Hindi pinakita eh. Hindi pinakita yung
Ano bang gusto niyong pamagat? Ano yan?
Teka.
Parang may tanong eh.
Hindi ano yung, teka na ba mawala yung ano nito?
Yung caption?
Yung caption.
Ewan ko. Nasa ano? Nasa...
VP Sara.
Ano bang gusto niyong pamagat? Ano ba?
Ano ba yun? Ano ba yun? Di ba basa yung ano? Di ba basa yung caption? Wait lang ha. Teka. VP Sara, naghahanda para sa bagong kwento na isusulat. Ayun.
Coming soon, kaya may tanong.
So meron ng part 2 yung libro. May part... Actually, maganda yung pinoint ni Tina kanina na nga naman, parang it's all worth it to take the risk na isama mo siya sa budget. It's all worth it. Kasi nga, since ang tanong nila is, bakit public funds ang ginamit mo dyan? Then it will open a can of worm for all the politicians na nagtatanong sa 10 million budget na gagastusin para sa libro na to. Diba? Kasi, bad trip sila dito kasi kumbaga parang for them, it's election paraphernalia. You're going to use it to popularize yourself. And you know, the bullets would come back hitting them. Diba? If they're going to ask that question on a 10 million item in the budget, it's gonna come back at them. Diba? Ayun. So, yeah, it's all worth it. Actually, maganda yung point ni Tina eh.
Next, ano na ba tayo? Ang bardagulan.
Bardagulan na!
Bardagulang Risa at Sara. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's play the video.
Okay, sige. Teka, asa na ba yung, niready ko na yan eh, wait. Teka lang ha. Ayan. Doon na tayo sa Bardagulang, Risa at Sara. Wait. Eto na. Teka lang ah. Ayan. Wait. Ay, ba yan? Lalabas na tayo dun sa yung sa introduction, yung sa presentation ng budget, ineme. Hindi na natin anuhin yun na. Doon na tayo agad dun sa nag-uusap-usap yung Senate. Yung meron yung opening statement na ni Bato. Ayan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to express my utmost support for the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President for fiscal year 2025 under the leadership of our esteemed Vice President Sara Duterte. Government service is making the most out of what little resources an office may possess. It is about finding ways to promote the general welfare of the people, however limiting or restricting the circumstances are. The OVP can only do so much with its annual budget, but it has set a good example to other government offices and agencies in maximizing funds. Vice President Sara Duterte could have just stood by and done nothing, but she chose a more proactive role in furthering the noble cause of Bangon Pilipinas, which is inclusivity in achieving economic and social growth. I have full confidence that the leadership of our Vice President is guided by her deep commitment to unite a country whose political landscape is constantly beset by indivision. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Bato. Senator Bongo will now give his opening statement.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat, no? Just want to express my support for the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President for the year 2025. As a proud Dabawenyo, I have witnessed firsthand the remarkable work of VP Inday Sara Duterte. I can attest to the positive impact she has made on every community and the entire nation. Sa mga nakaraang taon, nagkaroon po ang OVP ng mga programang nagbibigay ng tunay na benepisyo po sa ating mga kababayan, from medical assistance to relief operations, educational support, pangkabuhayan programs at libreng sakay among others. In fact, the libreng sakay program has already served more than 638,000 passengers in Metro Manila, Bacolod, Cebu, and Davao in 2023 alone. Naalala ko po, meron pong pinahiram po sa akin na bus noong 2019 at ngayon po pinahiram rin po ito sa OVP at para po mas marami pang mga kababayan nating commuters ang makikinabang sa programang libreng sakay. In addition, we recently supported the Office of the Vice President to further augment its free bus rides. May ruta na po ito mula sa PITX hanggang Naik, Cavite at operational na po ito August 14. Malaking tulong po ito sa ating mga commuters dahil ang pamasaheng may titipid po nila, 90 pesos hanggang 100 pesos. Bawat piso po ay napakahalaga po ito sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino, lalo-lalo po yung mga mahirap nating kababayan. Ang programang ito ay tunay na nakakatulong sa pagpapagaan ng kanilang araw-araw na pamumuhay, kaya mas lalo pa po dapat natin itong suportahan. At we laud the calamity and disaster response of the OVP, which helped provide immediate relief assistance to more than 100,000 families affected by floods, fire, earthquake, among others. Muli, nais ko pong ihayag ang aking buong suporta po sa budget ng Office of the Vice President. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Bongo. I'd like to recognize Senator Jinggoy Estrada for his opening.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wait lang ha. I would just like to raise yung yung libreng sakay na pinangako ng DOTR na supposedly ay gagawin for the first, supposedly Christmas season i-implement. DOTR received the budget already and they said that they're going to use it for libreng sakay. So hindi to yung libreng sakay ni OVP. Managed to ng DOTR na hindi nangyari. Ang libreng sakay lang na meron tayo, libreng sakay lang ng kay Inday. At hindi pa sila nagsasalita tungkol dyan. Na-content ko yan eh. Ayun lang, pinapaalala ko lang.
The Office of the Vice President has been an active partner of various government agencies in providing vital services to our kababayan, thus fulfilling its mandate to improve their lives and livelihood. Through the various programs that the OVP implements, our countrymen in the marginalized sector are empowered to become contributors to our nation's progress. For the year 2025, the OVP will implement 2 new programs that aim to promote education and health. One of the programs is the Educational Assistance Program, which will reach out to the poor, marginalized, vulnerable, and disadvantaged families. Another one is the Wheelchair Program, which will cater to individuals in need of wheelchairs. I am certain that these programs will greatly benefit our people. Sa katunayan, ito rin po ang madalas na idinudulog sa aming tanggapan dito sa Senado at ikinagalak namin na maglulunsad ng Office of Vice President ng mga programa upang tugunan ito. Maraming salamat po sa ating puting pangalawang Pangulo, Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte, sa kanyang mapagmahal na paglilingkod sa ating mga kababayan. Marami po ang umaasa sa mga programang inyong pinatutupad. At dahil dito ay patuloy namin susuportahan ang pagbibigay ng sapat na pondo upang may pagpatuloy ninyo ang mga ito at makatulong sa mas marami pa nating mga kababayan. Madam Chair, I would like to manifest my steadfast support for the approval of the proposed 2025 budget of the Office of the Vice President. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Jinggoy. Senator Amy Marcos, or Senator Cynthia Villar, do you have any opening?
Just want to manifest my full support for the budget of the Vice President.
Sure.
No introductory statements thus far, but from what I've seen, I think the limited budget of the Office of the Vice President is an illustration that budgetary restraints should not serve as limitations in performing, but should inspire other government offices to be more innovative and to have more initiative. So it should be an illustration of how we should really deliver services to the people. So thank you, the Office of the Vice President. I am here to show my full support to the passage, the immediate passage of the budget of the Office of the Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tolentino. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my colleagues here today. I think I've only acknowledged two. I should acknowledge also Senator Tolentino, Senator Bongo, earlier Senator Bato, Senator Jinggoy Estrada, and now Senator Risa Hontiveros. Well, it's supposed to be Senator Amy, but then she doesn't really. Okay, then Senator Risa is now recognized. She's just catching her breath, or she came from two other obligations. One is the commission appointments and another hearing.
Ayan na.
Salamat
ayan
po,
na.
Chair. At
Ito
magandang
lang.
hapon po sa lahat, mga kasama ko sa Senado at yung OVP family. Dalawang tanong lang po, Chair, para ngayong araw. Una po, I note that a huge chunk of the OVP's 2025 operations budget, 1.909 billion pesos, will be used for the delivery of socio-economic programs, such as one, medical and burial assistance program. This supplements other healthcare programs of the government to assist indigent individuals and families. For 2025, 771.445 million will be allocated for the program. Sa loob niyan, 600 million pesos for medical assistance and 171.445 million for burial assistance, which are, Madam Chair, very similar to the medical assistance to indigent or financially incapacitated patients program, o MAIF-IP of the DOH, and DSWDs, Assistance for Individuals in Crisis Situations, or AICS. Pangalawa, disaster operations, which aims to provide relief goods to disaster-stricken areas not commonly reached by other agencies. Para doon, 101.644 million pesos. And is also similar doon naman sa disaster risk management program of the DSWD. Third, relief for individuals in crisis and emergencies, or providing food boxes or food items to families who are ineligible for OVP's other services, so 50 million pesos, which is also similar to DSWD's AICS. And last, Magnegosyo Taday, livelihood assistance for those with entrepreneurial skills, 150 million pesos, which is also similar to DOLES naman, Integrated Livelihood Program o DLIP. So, yung tanong ko po dito, Madam Chair, anong nag-lead sa OVP na mag-consider na i-launch yung ganitong programs? May ginawa pang studies para suportahan yung pagkakaroon ng ganitong programs na parallel naman sa katulad at existing programs ng iba't iba nating line agencies, Madam Chair.
Okay, pause. So,
Nung kampanya po yung sinabi ko na plataforma, una po trabaho, pangalawa po edukasyon at
Ewan
tatlong
po.
mapayapang pamumuhay para sa ating
Wait
mga
lang, wait
mahihirap.
lang.
Nung pumasok po kami sa Office of the Vice President, tiningnan po namin ang
Teka lang,
mga
ewan po.
pinakamaraming requests ng ating mga kababayan.
Ay,
Una po,
boss!
lagi po namin natatanggap na request ay medical and burial assistance. Pangalawa po ay
Teka lang,
financial
teka lang,
assistance. Pangatlo, lagi silang humihingi ng tulong sa pagkain. At pang-apat, very recently, sa tali ng mga requests, no? Yeah, sa tali ng mga requests is yung educational assistance na sinasabi ng mga kababayan natin.
Teka lang, ayaw mo, wait lang.
i-off. Okay. Ano yung sabi doon ni Risa Hontiveros? Please repeat what she said. Ano yung issue niya?
Bakit naduduplicate yung mga services na ino-offer, yung mga project ng OVP ay duplication of current projects, current programs ng government.
Like what? Yung burial? Medical?
Burial, yung financial assistance, medical assistance,
Disaster relief.
disaster response.
Ang tanong, bakit issue to sa kanya?
Yun ang tanong.
Hanapin niyo yung budget ni Lenny nun.
Actually, yun nga yung sinesearch ko ngayon eh.
Sa annual audit. Sa GAA.
2020, let's say 2021. 2021.
Oo.
Lenny's budget in 2021, I think, I saw a post, was approved in just 2 minutes. Or 2018. 2018 ba yun? 20...
Actually, very quick, yes. Very quick
Diba?
talaga.
Very quick yung ano. Approval ng budget ni Lenny.
Walang debate.
21 minutes pala.
Hindi, kahit nung 2018. After 2 years. Diba?
Oh, 2018, no? 2 minutes lang.
Teka. GAA 2018. Sige, 2018 na i-pull up natin.
Hindi kasi dito naka-itemize yung kanyang mga projects. Hindi kasi naka-itemize dyan eh.
Ano lang, ayan, Enhanced Strategic Partnership and Advocacy on Good Governance. Nakaatado lang siya. Good Governance Program, Good Governance Engagement and Social Projects.
Social service project.
So hindi, ayan, tapos locally funded projects for the implementation of priority programs and projects. Medyo general.
Yeah, so meron siyang good governance program. So that's 57
million.
No, that's
7 million.
Tapos naging 400. Actually, may MOE pa yon. 420 may MOE pa yon. Personal services lang yun, may total doon. So ngayon, actually, pag ang titingnan mo yung COA report, no? Tingnan mo yung COA report ni Lenny. Nandun kasi yung mas itemized eh.
Mahina yung server na. Oh, ito, ano na, mabilis na.
Ay, mabilis na siya. Nasa Davao pa rin ba kayo?
Yes.
Parang dyan na ata kayo titira. Charot.
Oh.
Sina Joey.
Oo, dito na ako titira. Sarap ng pagkain dito.
Daming prutas, Sas. Grabe, mura.
Lagi kaya ako may dragon fruit. Teka,
Pag dumudumi kami, pula na yung ano namin.
Ah, talaga?
2018. Office of the Vice President. Teka lang ha, teka lang guys.
Parang summary lang yan, Joey.
Yan, executive summary talaga.
Yan. Yung Excel ata. Or,
Hindi na-download ko parehas.
oo, naka-zip file.
Start tayo dun sa ano niya, sa executive summary niya.
Hmm.
Kung ano ba yung findings. Ay, ba't lang na lumalabas?
Tingnan mo, oh. Diba, tingnan mo yung operational highlights. Operational highlights, yan, oh.
Ayan. Percentage of requests acted upon within standard processing time. Percentage of projects with partners implemented as planned.
Tingnan mo yung 1.5.
Under the Angat Buhay
Buhay.
program. The
Tingnan mo yung
conduct
1.5.
Ayan, Angat Buhay Bridging Leadership. ABUs, Angat Buhay Youth Mindanao. Angat Buhay Women's Workshop for Aspiring Women Entrepreneur.
Yung
And ano,
pagkagaling
similar to this kay Inday na livelihood.
Oo, tindahan ni Inday.
Hindi, yung women's,
Negosyo ni Inday?
magnegosyo tayo, Day.
Oo.
Magnegosyo taday.
Yeah, 1.5. Tingnan mo yung 1.5.
Disaster relief and rehabilitation.
600,000.
1.6.
Mm-hmm. Omasenso sa Kabuhayan, launch in July 2018. Ayan,
2.1.
Social Services Program, Medical Assistance,
Burial assistance.
Burial Assistance,
Mm.
Istorya ng Pag-asa. O ngayon, Risa, anong putang inang pinagpuputak mo?
Kapareho lang yan eh.
This is 2018 by the way, This is 2018 Executive Summary.
Oh, meron ba nung Duterte Align na nireklamo ito?
Right.
Istorya ng Pag-asa aims to empower communities and instill hope through the words and profiles of inspiring individuals. The OVP's way of changing the conversation and countering the rising culture of negativity and apathy. I mean, this is very Istorya ng Pag-asa. Teka, wait. Didn't they made a book? Didn't they make a book about
Istorya ng Pag-asa?
Teka ha. Istorya ng Pag-asa. Teka.
Parang meron. Parang mga inspiring stories of successful women. Parang I remember.
Coffee table book.
Yes,
Oo, coffee
yes.
table book.
Di ba? Parang stories of inspiration.
Ano siya? Traveling photo exhibit in a video. Yung coffee book, coffee table book, na-release yun nung patapos na yung term niya eh. But I think it is also aligned with this Istorya ng Pag-asa. Okay, wait So, ito yung ano nangyari? Bakit ito ayaw? Wait, sorry.
Siya ni-release. November 2019.
Oo nga. Bakit ayaw lumabas naman? Istorya ng Pag-asa. Ayan. At pag sinishare ko, hindi lumalabas yung article.
Kasi medyo ano.
Ayan.
Yun.
Ito. Ayan, more than 400 real-life story of Filipinos featured in Robredo's Istorya ng Pag-asa project. Vice President Leni Robredo's Istorya ng Pag-asa, Stories of Hope project has gathered and featured more than 400 inspiring real-life stories of Filipinos from 30 areas across the country. Ayan. So naglibot-libot rin to sa buong Pilipinas. Teka nga, tingnan nga natin kung merong story, ano to, paper, merong coffee table book ito. Storya ng Pag-asa book.
Parang yung sinabi mo, traveling photo exhibit lang.
Traveling photo exhibit lang siya. Ayan. Well, anyway, this is akin to ano, no? Akin to the to VP Inday's book na pangbata. So kumbaga siya, meron siyang photo exhibit na traveling exhibit that is a compilation of stories and video photo exhibit, video presentation na nagpunta siya sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. Ayan. So, Istorya ng Pag-asa Photo Gallery Exhibit in Cebu. Ayan. Ayun.
Yun.
Meron pa siya ibang mga pinuntahan eh. Teka, may sinabi dito sa ano ng ano eh. Yung mga pinuntahan niya. Ayan. Quezon, Bacolod, Baguio, Cagayan de Oro, Dumaguete, Albay, Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Palawan, Cavite, Sorsogon, Cebu, Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, Capiz, and Iloilo. Nagpunta rin siya sa United States, Hong Kong, Canada, Germany, Australia, United Kingdom. Para dito sa Istorya ng Pag-asa Project. And the Istorya ng Pag-asa Project is how much? Hindi niya sinabi kung magkano. Hindi niya sinabi kung magkano. Kung magkano ang Istorya ng Pag-asa.
Wala sa summary yan.
Wala sa, doon sa good governance program niya, sa kanyang GAA, yung kanyang good governance, kasi it's under the good governance program eh. Yung good governance program niya is 482,831,000 pesos. Kano yung budget niya dito? Kano yung total niya dito? Good governance, engagement, and social services. So, ang total is 543. Okay. Subtotal 400. Okay. For the good governance, engagement, and social services, 402,831,000 pesos. So, ilang item to? Doon sa good governance na pinakita doon, ilang item siya? 1, 2. Ito, engagement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 projects. Doon sa 402, yung so good governance with engagement.
Yung kay Inday, yung 10 million na book na yun is part of a 100 million project giving away school bags and tree planting. So, it was just about 10% of that total project cost. Kasi embedded yun eh. Doon sa isang 100 million plus a million bags ata yun. Million bags and a million trees. Parang ganun. So, just 10% of that. Ewan ko yung istorya na magkano in percentage yan.
Ito yung good governance, engagement, and social service project. Ito yung total niya, 402,831. So, kung ibabangga natin siya doon sa 2018 budget, kung ibabangga natin siya doon sa audit niya, dun sa audit niya, ito yung audit niya where it says na yung kanyang, ayan, good governance program, ayan, wherein there is a 93.9% accomplishment, actual, target actual, ano to, percentage of accomplishment. Bakit ganun? 110?
Kasi 85 ang target. 85.
85 yung target.
Tapos ang achieve nila is 93.
Nag-overachieve sila
Nag-overachieve sila.
sa ano.
Kasi mababa yung target.
85%, they achieve 93.9. Okay, so, well, nagpunta ka ba? Siyempre, piruin mo, istorya ng pag-asa, bukod sa Pilipinas, nagpunta ka pa abroad!
Hong Kong.
Mag-overachieve ka talaga. Mag-overachieve ka talaga dyan. Okay, so yun. So ito yung social services program. Ito yung istorya ng pag-asa.
Pero wait, yung Jesse Robredo story ba is part of the 400 stories ng istorya ng pag-asa?
Included daw, 400 stories na kinumpile daw nila. Tapos yun yung part ng mga photo exhibit at saka video
Yeah,
presentation.
so Jesse Robredo was there.
Huh?
The Jesse Robredo story is part of the 400 inspiring stories.
I do not know.
Yes.
I do not know. Ayan. Tapos, ito, kasi parang ordinary Filipino story daw yun.
Okay.
Ayan, sabi, OVP conducted 26 INP activities to 26 areas. Sa 26 areas na yon, kasama ang
Hong Kong.
United States,
United
Hong Kong,
States.
Canada, Germany, Australia, United Kingdom.
Ano yun?
Mag-over ka talaga.
Istorya ng pag-asa
Hmm.
aims to empower communities, etc. Magkano ang budget nila dyan?
Hindi nga pinakita eh
Hindi, percentage lang. Teka, tingnan natin dun sa
sa audit sa AAR.
Ano yan? Social Services Program.
Teka lang ha. Dito. Wait.
Yan, parang yan. Isa na.
Teka, tingnan na natin kung pwede kong i-search dito.
Wala.
Hindi lumalabas.
Ayan,
Ito.
yan. Istorya ng Bayan, INP.
Hindi nila pinangalanan.
Wala.
Napaka-general eh.
Kasi nandito yung local project eh. Di ba? Pero wala yung ano eh.
Hindi naman.
Wala yung nasa good governance lang eh. Ito. good
Oo.
governance.
Pero yun ang eksena nila, no? You are scrutinizing this, Risa Ontiveros. Kina-question mo si Sara Duterte kung bakit may burial medical and livelihood assistance ang OVP under Sara Duterte. Na parang, tapos nagdidemand ka na meron bang pag-aaral dito. Ay naano ko, lahat ng Vice President ng Pilipinas dumaan siya dyan. Kahit si Leni Robredo, pati si Binay. May mga assistants. Kahit si Noli De Castro.
Yes.
Bakit over 20 years ka na, ngayon ka lang.
Nag-question?
Hindi ba naman, ha?
And this is just to demonstrate why yung question ni Risa is really vile. Okay? And if you do not understand the line of questioning of Risa, na magtatanong ka, kasi dinuduplicate mo naman yung mga project, kasi ganyan, na ngayon, wag tayong maggaguhan, wag tayong magplastikan. Yung mga projects ni Inday is actually not very far doon sa mga naging projects ni Inday, ni Leni Robredo. Diba? Burial assistance,
And past vice presidents.
disaster response,
And past vice presidents.
and past vice presidents, correct. Diba? It has been there. So, why are you crying, Risa? Why are you crying? Diba? Why are you crying? In fact, pagdating nga dun, nakakaloka lang, no? Kasi pagdating dun kay, it wasn't really that transparent na, I mean, how much went to,
Yes.
how much
yung
went to INP?
I travel
Kasi
abroad. You travel abroad lang.
Oo.
5 countries yun.
Yung mga projects kasi hindi, baka naman, it's somewhere na hindi lang natin nakita. Pero, I would like to know, doon sa good governance program ni Leni Robredo, which is actually 402 million pesos, 831,000. Ang mga projects na tinutukoy is Angat Buhay program, Angat Buhay Bridging Leadership. Okay? Angat Buhay Youth Mindanao. Angat Buhay Women's Workshop for Aspiring Women Entrepreneur. Metro Laylayan Assisted Beneficiaries in 4 metropolitan cities. Disaster Relief and Rehabilitation. Umasenso sa kabuhayan. Medical Assistance, Burial Assistance, Istorya ng Pag-asa. Okay, so that's 9. So, kahit i-divide natin yung 402 into 10, at least 40 million each yun.
At least 40 million. Pero that includes
Diba?
MOE. Pero included naman talaga sa MOE yung yung mga projects nila eh. Magkano lang ba yung personal services doon, which goes to
57
salary?
million.
Oh, so 57 million.
57 million from the
So, paglagay na natin.
well, that's included
360,
part yun ng
yeah.
part yun ng implementation ng project mo eh.
Right, so, lagay na natin na tanggalin yung 350 divided by 10 is about 35 million pa rin per project niya. Eh yung INP niya na traveling doon sa 5 overseas destinations pa lang, siguro lapas na sa 10 million.
10 million.
Ilang million na yun? Tapos she traveled to around 20 domestic destinations.
Ayun.
Tapos meron ba yung scientific study na tulad nung hiningi ni Risa for the book?
Ayun.
Yun.
So anyway, ang point lang dito, si Leni Robredo, meron siyang istorya ng pag-asa. Yung istorya ng pag-asa is actually very akin doon sa libro ni Inday. Okay? Ang difference lang, yung kay Leni is a traveling photo exhibit and video presentation of 400 inspiring stories of ordinary Filipino people. Okay? Yung kay Inday, one time big time, ipapamigay lang yung libro sa mga bata. Okay? And the story is a children's story that talks about the value of true friendship.
So magkaiba yung audience.
Okay? Magkaiba yung audience and yun yung doon, yun yung well, if
Advocacy kasi ni Inday din eh.
Oo,
Yung
ngayon,
mga bata,
advocacy ni mag-share ng story ng pag-asa.
Advocacy ni Lenny.
Diba? So ngayon, bakit hindi ka na-offend, Risa? Noong ang usapan ay istorya ng pag-asa ni Leni Robredo. Now, if we're going to look at the budget of Leni Robredo, 402 million pesos yung para sa lahat ng kanyang mga good governance project. That includes istorya ng pag-asa. How much is the project for that? Ayun.
Yun.
So yun.
So tama si Inday.
Mm-mm.
Politicizing the budget.
So ngayon, when Inday said that you Risa Ontiveros is trying to politicize the budget, it has basis. 'Di ba? Nung tinataray-tarayan kanya, may basis kasi hindi mo naman tinanong yan before. Eh, senador ka na rin naman nun. 'Di ba? Senador na siya nung panahon ni Leni eh. 'Di ba? So ngayon, pagka ikaw, dinuduraan ka sa muka at sinasabing namumulitika ka, totoo yun. Anong pinagpuputak mo dyan, Risa? Teka, asan yung, nawala ko yung hearing. Ito. Okay. Ayan, o sige, game, tuloy natin.
Go, girl.
Teka, sorry.
Una po, I note that a huge chunk of the OVP's 2025 operations budget, 1.909 billion pesos, will be used for the delivery of socio-economic programs, such as one medical and burial assistance program. This supplements other healthcare programs of the government to assist indigent individuals and families. For 2025, 771.445 million will be allocated for the program. Sa loob niyan, 600 million pesos for medical assistance and 171.445 million for burial assistance, which are, Madam Chair, very similar to the medical assistance to indigent or financially incapacitated patients program, o MAIF-IP of the DOH, and DSWD's, Assistance for Individuals in Crisis Situations, or AICS. Pangalawa, disaster operations, which aims to provide relief goods to disaster-stricken areas not commonly reached by other agencies. Para doon, 101.644 million pesos. And is also similar doon naman sa disaster risk management program of the DSWD. Third, relief for individuals in crisis and emergencies, or providing food boxes or food items to families who are ineligible for OVP's other services, so 50 million pesos, which is also similar to DSWD's AICS. And last, Magnegosyo Taday, livelihood assistance for those with entrepreneurial skills, 150 million pesos, which is also similar to DOLES naman, Integrated Livelihood Program o DLIP. So, ang tanong ko po dito, Madam Chair, Anong nag-lead sa OVP na mag-consider na i-launch yung ganitong programs? May ginawa bang studies para suportahan yung pagkakaroon ng ganitong programs na parallel naman sa katulad at existing programs ng iba't iba nating line agencies, Madam Chair?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you. Nung ako po ay nangampanya, tatlo lang po yung sinabi ko na plataforma. Una po, trabaho. Pangalawa po, edukasyon. At tatlo, mapayapang pamumuhay para sa ating mga mamamayan. Nung pumasok po kami sa Office of the Vice President, tiningnan po namin ang mga pinakamaraming requests ng ating mga kababayan. Una-una po, ang lagi po namin natatanggap na request ay medical and burial assistance. Pangalawa po ay financial assistance. Pangatlo, lagi silang humihingi ng tulong sa pagkain. At pang-apat, very recently, sa tali ng mga requests, no? Sa tali ng mga requests is yung educational assistance na sinasabi ng mga kababayan natin. Sinasabi namin lagi sa kanila, libre naman yung public schools. Ngayon ay libre na rin yung higher educational institutions. Pero sinasabi nila nahihirapan kasi sila sa plete, nahihirapan sila sa pabao ng mga bata at sa pagkain ng mga bata. Kaya meron kaming bago, ito yung educational assistance. At ang panghuli naman, lagi naming natatanggap na request galing sa ating mga kababayan ay kapag sila ay naging biktima ng disaster, whether man-made or natural disasters. So sila po ay lumalapit sa Office of the Vice President. Totoo po, merong mga ibang local government units at ibang national government agencies na ganito po ang kanilang programa. Pero po, nung ako ay umupo as a Vice President, I took an oath, and doon sa oath, I said that I will do justice to every man. So hindi po kami pwedeng humindi sa mga tao na humihingi ng tulong, lalong-lalo na ay kaparte ng gobyerno ang Office of the Vice President.
Salamat, VP, Madam Chair. Sabi nga ng VP, Madam Chair, libre na yung public school, libre na rin yung higher education, bagamat ni-note nila na sinasabi ng mga nagre-request na nahihirapan pa rin sila sa ilang mga programs na nakalodge sa ilalim ng libreng edukasyon na iyan. Kaya nga, kinonsider nilang mag-launch ng ganitong mga katulad na programs. Iko-consider ba ng VP na i-lodge na lang yung mga budgets nitong mga programa doon na lang sa mga line agencies natin, tapos mag-request na lang ang OVP ng allocation para in sync sa priorities ng executive department sa halip na magkaroon pa ng hiwalay pero magkatulad naman ng programa, Madam Chair?
Wait,
We only submit a budget and we leave it to the discretion of all the members of Congress to decide on the budget. We can only propose a budget for the Office of the Vice President. Pero magbibigay po ako ng halimbawa kung ganun po ang gagawin natin. Tulad po ng AIX ng DSWD.
pakipost.
Kapag meron po kaming nire-refer o binibigyan ng endorsement ng AIX
Pakipost.
ng DSWD, kadalasan po nasagot sa amin.
Ayan, go.
Alam mo yung sinabi ni Risa, willing ba ang OVP na ipasok na lang sa mga line agencies itong
Yeah.
mga budget na ito ng OVP? Tapos mag-request na lang yung OVP doon.
Mm.
Do you see what Risa Ontiveros was trying to do there? Ang gagawin niyang slave.
Slave,
Si
si
Hong Kong administration. Ang gustong gawin ni Risa Ontiveros doon ay yun nga, emasculate si
masculine Inday.
na pag may humihingi sa OVP, may pumupunta sa OVP na kailangan ng burial assistance or educational assistance, ang gagawin lang ni Sarah, i-refer ni Sarah
Doon sa agency.
doon sa agency. At yung agency pwedeng
Mag-decline.
umoo o hindi.
Hmm.
Ang mangyayari, gagawin ng agency na yon, they will definitely disregard the request of the OVP.
Hmm.
Sino ngayon yung mapapahiya? It is the OVP. Second, hindi to ginawa nung panahon ni Duterte, ha?
Right.
Walang senador na DDS sa sinabi kay Lenny na,
Hindi pwede
Oh.
yan.
Lenny, bakit hindi na lang i-refer mo na lang to sa DSWD imbes na ilagay sa budget mo? Nagigets yung ginagawa ni Risa Ontiveros. So nakigets yun yung buong context nito. And given the family tree of Risa Ontiveros na ang kanyang brother-in-law at ang kanyang sister ay part ng BBM administration, hindi malayo kung bakit niya ito gustong gawin. Ito ay utos, ito ay ginagawa lamang niya ang tunay na fuck body ng isang administrasyon. At ito ay ipagtanggol ang administrasyon laban sa mga kalaban na to. At of course, ang gusto niya pabagsakin ay si Sara Duterte dahil si Sara Duterte ay kalaban ng administrasyon na kung saan ang kanyang brother-in-law at kanyang sister ay kaparte. Continue, Madam Joey.
Ayan.
Amin ay hindi pwede dahil galing yan sa Office of the Vice President at
Yeah.
kalaban yan.
Yeah.
Minsan po, totoo yan na pupolitika ang assistance para sa ating mga kababayan. Kaya po, uulitin ko, ang mga tao naman kasi hindi sila tumitingin sa politika. Tumitingin lang sila na itong opisina na ito ay opisina ng gobyerno at pwede kaming humingi ng tulong doon. And so I go back to the oath that I shall do justice to every man at kaya po kami nandito at kaya po kami merong mga ganito na mga projects sa Office of the Vice President.
Salamat, VP, Madam Chair. Wini-welcome ko yung sinabi nila na the VP would leave it to the discretion.
Ginawa na nila yung ganon, nag-pass sila ng request doon sa mga line agencies, pero ang reklamo ng mga patients or nagreklamo ng mga tao, hinihindihan sila dahil nga kalaban daw si Inday Sara. Yan ang feedback sa kanila. So yun.
discretion of the members of Congress. Medyo nagitla ko nung sinabing minsan pag may nire-refer ang OVP para sa AIX, ang feedback ay kalaban yan. Dahil Madam Chair, I believe tayo sa Kongreso when we appropriate the budget, merong implicit na assumption tayo doon na pagkatapos in the exercise of our oversight function, yung parehong level ng professionalism we demand of ourselves ay presumption of regularity ina-expect natin sa lahat ng members ng executive, lalo na when they are working together. Kaya gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, welcome ko yung sinabi ni VP na they would leave it to the discretion of the members of Congress, and tayo naman na hindi tayo bibitaw sa mahigpit nating pag-ensure na these programs be implemented by the appropriate agencies o kahit in collaboration with each other na naaayon talaga sa tamang standards above partisan politics. And therefore, at the proper time, Madam Chair, gagawa ako ng proper motion para i-lodge yung budgets ng mga programa ito sa line agencies na may klarong opportunity for OVP na mag-request for allocation as for other offices in the executive. Yung huli ko sa ngayon, Madam Chair, for 20...
Ni Risa Ontiveros, ilipat sa line agencies, sa DSWD, etc., itong mga budget na ito, at mag-request na lang doon ng OVP. Hindi ito ginawa under the Duterte administration nung si Leni ang Vice President. Uulitin natin. Hindi ito ginawa ni Duterte o kahit Duterte-aligned congressman or senator na yung budget for burial, medical, and livelihood assistance and disaster relief ng OVP ay ilipat sa line agency at magre-request lang ang OVP. Walang ganung ginawa.
Correct.
So ito si Risa Ontiveros, nakikita niyo na yung ginagawa ni Risa Ontiveros kung bakit ito nasalpukan ni Inday.
Actually, when the budget hearing of Leni Robredo was conducted in the past, isa sa mga discussion is yung not to make the office of the Vice President just an empty office. Kasi wala naman talagang iba pang mandatong malaliman ng OVP dahil the Vice President is a spare tire, okay? But the lawmakers then agreed na kung ito ang layunin ng Office of the Vice President na magbigay ng mga tulong sa mga lumalapit sa opisina nito and whatnot, ganyan, ay yung humanitarian duties and responsibilities ng opisinang ito, dahil ito naman ay public office, ay ma-enhance. And so that is why, kung mapapansin nyo, yung pondo rin po ng Office of the Vice President nung panahon ni Leni Robredo ay lumobo talaga ng lumobo year after year after year. Because the Office of the Vice President was given a latitude then to really expand their humanitarian services. Makita niyo yan historical, magkanong pondo. Nung panahon ni Binay, iniipit yung pondo niya. Maliit lang yung pondo ni if I am not mistaken, yung pondo ni Binay, ni Jejomar Binay, 2016, so ginawa pa yun dineliberate pa yun ng 2015, yung budget niya for 2016 was only around 250 million pesos. Nung pumasok si Leni Robredo, halos na doble agad yun. Na-doble agad yung increase niya. And then, year after year, patuloy itong umaakyat. And yun nga, and kasama dun sa pag-akyat ng kanyang budget ay yung recognition ng mga humanitarian services na ina-extend ng Office of the Vice President. So, why now you're asking, Senator Risa, na hindi, limitahan nyo na lang. Basically, you're saying that na limitahan na lang yung budget. Parang, hindi ba dapat, parang mas i-ano na lang yan, i-defer. You are asking the Office of the Vice President to defer on its humanitarian services.
Tama.
Diba?
Gawing dekorasyon yung opisina ni Inday.
Yeah. Ganon. Ayun.
2025, one of the OVP's programs, Pagbabago Campaign, 1 Million Learners and Trees, involves the provision of bags to 1 million learners in remote communities while initiating tree planting activities. This gets an appropriation of 100 million pesos. Part of this campaign is an allocation of 10 million pesos for the distribution of Isang Kaibigan books, a children's book authored by the VP. Pwede po bang sabihin ni VP sa atin?
Ano yun
More tungkol sa librong ito.
Here, let me make a rebuttal. And another example of politicizing the budget of the government. Ito pong sinabi ni Senator Risa Ontiveros na at the proper time she'll make a motion to lodge the requested budget of the OVP to the other agencies. Let me just quote Senator Risa during the Akbayan Congress. Alam ko po na ang daming kalat ni Duterte na hirap tayong linisin. Ang kadiliman noong panahon niya ay talaga namang nanuot sa ating lipunan para man sa na napakahirap tanggalin. At habang ang anak niya ay may kapangyarihan pa, hindi magiging madali ang ating laban. While VP Sara is in power, the threat of a full-blown Duterte comeback is still a very real and present danger. For one, they are supported by one major superpower, China. So that is an example of politicizing the budget of the government. May we request, Madam Chair, that Senator Risa Ontiveros repeat the last question?
I will certainly, if you request, Madam Chair, repeat my question dahil walang kinalaman sa kasasabi lang ng VP ngayon. Alam nating lahat na miyembro ng iba't ibang partido, yung speeches natin sa ating mga kamiyembro sa mga party congresses ay hiwalay na event dito sa budget debate. So, I really take exception dun sa sinabi ni VP na rebuttal iyan dahil halimbawa ito sa politicizing. In fact, wala akong tinanong tungkol sa China o kahit sino pa mang ibang bansa dito sa budget hearing na to. I am asking about yung national budget na ipapasa natin sa Kongreso para sa bansang Pilipinas sa taong 2025. At ang pangalawang at huling tanong ko sa ngayon, before I make at the proper time propose an amendment which may or may not be accepted by the chair and by the colleagues, para nga mas i-align ang mga kaperahan natin, lalo na't masikip ang fiscal space natin dun sa mga appropriate programs sa appropriate agencies na malayang-malaya ang OVP makipag-partner sa kanila tulad ng sino pang opisina sa executive. Ang tanong ko po ay ilang mga libro ng isang kaibigan ay bibilihin at i-distribute at ano, if the VP could tell us more about the contents ng librong ito. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, the book is not for sale. We only pay for the publication of the book. And we will send Senator Antiveros a copy so that she will know what is the content of the book.
Oh, this question is not only for me, Madam Chair, para rin para sa mga kasama dito sa budget hearing. Baka ilang araw pa bago makadala at mabasa ko, which I certainly will. But I am asking a question bilang isang mambabatas sa head of agency ng isang opisina sa executive dito sa budget hearing na to. Simpleng tanong. Tell us more about the book, isang kaibigan, at ilang kopya nito ang bibilihin ng gobyerno sa halagang 10 milyong piso at i-distribute sa kasama ng mga bag sa 1 million learners sa remote communities, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, this is an example of politicizing the budget hearing through the questions of a senator. Ang problema niya kasi, nakalagay yung pangalan ko doon sa libro. At yung libro na yan, ibibigay namin doon sa mga bata. At yung mga bata na yan, may mga magulang na boboto. At yung pangalan ko ay nagkalat doon sa kung saan man ibibigay yung libro. Madam Chair, we commit to send tomorrow everyone in this room a copy of the book.
Madam Chair, hindi ko maintindihan yung ugali ng ating resource person. It is a simple question. Paulit-ulit na this is politicizing. Ang VP ang nagbanggit ng salitang boboto. Wala akong sinabing boboto. I'm simply asking, hindi ko ma-imagine we're making so much trouble, so much fuss about a 10 million peso item na itinatanong ko lang simpleng, what is the book about? At ilang kopya ang bibilihin ng gobyerno sa halagang 10 milyong piso at i-distribute. I don't appreciate this kind of attitude, Madam Chair. Usually, ang resource persons natin ay nagbibigay ng parehong institutional courtesy sa legislature na ibinibigay natin sa executive. I don't appreciate this kind of attitude.
Do you have
Madam Chair? Yes, Madam Chair. Hindi ko rin maintindihan ang ugali ni Senator Risa Ontiveros. And I do not appreciate, ano yung sinabi niya? I do not appreciate this kind of behavior and attitude. Madam Chair, noong 2016, tumatakbo si Senator Risa Ontiveros na senator, nakailang talo na siya. So,
Dalawa, Madam Chair.
okay, dalawa. Natatakot siya sa pangatlong talo niya, kaya pumunta siya sa Davao, humingi siya ng tulong. Tinulungan siya ng isang kagawad ng Davao na ngayon hindi na siya sinusuportahan. Humingi siya ng tulong sa akin, thinking na hindi mananalo si President Rodrigo Duterte. Kinausap niya ako ng kinausap doon sa law office ko sa Davao City. Sabi ko sa kanya, o sige, tutulungan kita. Chinika niya ako ng chinika. Tapos umalis siya. Siyempre, hindi naman siya tumutulong kay Pangulong Duterte, hindi din totoo yung sinabi ko na tutulungan kita. Tinext niya ako. Pwede ba akong mag-follow up sa hinihingi kong tulong sa boto dyan sa Davao City? So sabi ko sa kanya, okay, sige. So, tinawagan ko at sinabihan ko at pinakiusapan ko ng pinakiusapan si former Congressman Milen Garcia. Sabi ko sa kanya, Kong, tulungan mo ito. Bigyan mo na lang ng ilang barangay mo at ilang mga leaders mo. Ayaw pa siya, tulungan. Ni former Congressman Milen Garcia. Pinakiusapan ko ulit, Kong, please tulungan mo na lang. Nanalo na siya at nung nanalo siya, anong ginawa niya? Siya ang pinakaunang umatake kay President Rodrigo Duterte. Anong tawag sa ugaling ganito?
With due respect to our resource persons and also our colleagues, I think this doesn't really, I understand there's history among all of us here, but I think that we should really stick to the budget, and I think this is just being very objective. I would like to ask also, since we're going to be furnished a copy tomorrow, we can look at it and evaluate what the content of the book is, but maybe just a general, we won't ask line by line, ano ba yung libro na yan, but tell me, is it for good manners and right conduct? That's fine. Is it science? Is it history? So maybe just a general one, so we can just answer it, because I understand that every office will have its own advocacy and initiative. So, but then, I don't think it's also wrong for us to be curious what it is about. So just a general one. Any of the undersecretaries can tell me what the topic of the book is? Is it history? What is it?
Madam Chair, the explanation is in the title, Isang Kaibigan. It's about friendship.
Okay, then that's for the record. It's about friendship.
Madam Chair, just the last point.
Okay.
So kung sana ganun yung naging sagot sa simula pa, di ba? Napakasimple. Simpleng tanong, dapat simpleng sagot. Nagkwento pa ng kwento na sinabi dati na walang kinalaman sa tanong ko. Just for the record, as a last point, Madam Chair, this is public funds and we're making inquiries about them. Budget hearing po ito. Hindi po lahat about you, pero po ito ng taong bayan. For the record, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
But I
Yes.
understand the emotion is high. But let's continue on. If you have any more questions, Senator Risa, we will.
Those are just my 2 questions, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Senator Tolentino, you had your hand raised earlier.
I was about
Okay, wait lang ha. Ayan. Okay. Risa Ontiveros was actually answered. She asked, she asked, what is the book all about? And then, Inday Sara said that you're going to be furnished of the book first thing in the morning tomorrow. Lahat ng nasa room. Okay? Ganon. Hindi, pinipilit niya na, hindi, prior to that, Risa Ontiveros was already badgering the Office of the Vice President tungkol dun sa mga programs. Hindi, dapat ano na lang kayo, hindi ba dapat i-defer nyo na lang to dun sa tapos i-defer nyo lang to sa mga involved agencies at kayo ay parang manghingi na lang ng parang allotment or ano ba yung suggestion niya, kuya,
Para mag-request.
Oo, na magre-request na lang kayo doon and
i-refer nila
whatnot,
yung
ganyan. Now, it's not rocket science, Risa Ontiveros. Yung mga first few questions mo kay Inday is geared towards emasculating the Office of the Vice President. And then suddenly, you got so very curious about the 10 million books because sabi mo, public funds sa pinag-uusapan natin dito. Madam, magkano ang nakulimbat mo na MOOE through the years? Okay? Ngayon, ang patutsada mo dyan, simple lang ang tanong, sagutin lang. Pag ikaw ang tinatanong, sumasagot ka ba? Ang kapal ng mukha kasi, ito yung nakakabisit dito kay Risa Ontiveros eh.
Oh.
Masyado kang pa-moral high horse na parang, hindi nagtatanong lang ako. Tangina mo, ikaw lang nakakaintindi sa sabi mo, nagtatanong ka lang. Hindi ka nagtatanong, passive-aggressive ka, gaga.
That's
Diba?
the right word, passive-aggressive.
Passive-aggressive ka. Ngayon, ang kapal ng mukha mo para sabihin, hindi nagtatanong lang ako, public funds to, kineme-kineme. Pag kami concerned sa public funds, ilang beses ka nang tinatanong, anong ginagawa mo? Gumaganti ka sa amin sa Facebook. I have never been gorgored in Facebook, not unless si Risa Ontiveros ang content ko.
Ganun na?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sa totoo lang.
So,
Ang kapal po ng mukha nyo to say na, hindi, simple lang ang tanong, sagutin lang. Pag ikaw tinatanong namin, pag ikaw tinatanong ng taong bayan, sumasagot ka ba? Sumagot ka ba tungkol doon sa PhilHealth na nandun ang mukha mo, na bayad ka naman pala, para doon, or at least, you know, the publication, at least the publication of those, the posting of those posters,
yes.
somebody got paid. Using public funds.
Right. So the hypocrisy of Risa Ontiveros stems from the fact that yung kasabihan na the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Risa's enemy are the Dutertes. But because the Dutertes are now the enemies of her enemy, which is the Marcoses, nagiging friend na rin niya yung mga Marcoses.
Ang tanong, are they really enemies?
Hindi, actually, alam mo, Ibi, no? It's actually much worse than that.
Oh,
It's
yes.
not about the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
They're all friends.
No, for Risa Ontiveros, it's not about friendship. Okay? Sa kanya, kung sino ang pwedeng makaiyutan, yun siya. As simple as that. Kung sino pwedeng makaiyutan ni Risa Ontiveros, dun siya.
Political opportunist, yeah.
Yeah, look at what happened nung panahon nung 2016. Can you imagine, 2016, anti Duterte yan si Ontiveros, tumakbo siya nung senador, anti Duterte siya. Pero humingi pa rin siya ng tulong kay Inday Sara. Makulit, si Sara naman, okay, tulungan na kita. 'Di ba? O anong ginawa niya? Tapos ngayon, siya yung unang na nag-keme-keme kay Duterte. So gusto lang talaga niya makipag-iyutan si Risa kasi nga kung hindi makikipag-iyutan si Risa, hindi naman siya aangat. Alam mo 'yun, nakipag-iyutan yan sa kay GMA nung EDSA 2 laban kay Estrada. Hindi ba? Nung tagilid naman nakipag-iyutan sila kay Aquino. Tapos
against GMA.
Yes, nakipag-iyutan siya behind the scene sa mga Duterte, 'di ba? Paghingi ng tulong kay Inday Sara, anti-Duterte naman talaga siya. Tapos ngayon, itong 13 years old na anti-Marcos, nakikipag-ayutan siya kay BBM. Hindi yan may enemies, may enemy. Ganun.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple, pakikipag-iyutan. 'Di ba? Risa, alam mo, Day, ito, ewan ko, napanood yung interview ko kay Lorraine. Lahat ng ano yan, ano talaga yan, gusto lang talaga nilang mga bayo, no? Look at wala namang issue ng akbayan eh. Ano bang issue dati ni Risa? Ang issue niya before is LGBT. Saka yung women. Wala nang issue women. Hindi na siya papatok yung LGBT issue. Nasunog siya nung kay Aura Briguela. Remember nung kay Aura Briguela, nung inaresto si Aura Briguela, syempre, attention grabbing, maraming manonood, maraming followers si Aura Briguela, artista, ganyan. Puro kabataan yung ni Aura Briguela. Sino una nag-release ng statement? Joey, hanapin mo yung statement ni Risa Ontiveros.